My name is Will, and I'm here with my co-host Ken.
Hey, hey.
And every week we are going to review albums of the past and singles that are near and dear to our heart.
Absolutely.
Ken, what are we reviewing for our very first episode?
Launching this bad boy off, we are going to break out Queen's album, News of the World.
And News of the World was released in 1977, and it's not their biggest album. It's a huge hit. 4 million records sold in America alone. Huge hit in Britain, huge hit in France, huge hit all over the world, but not their biggest album. But maybe the album that is closest to my heart. When you and I came up with this idea, and we said we're going to do a Queen album, there was no doubt in my mind that News of the World was the album we were going to review.
Nice.
And Ken, for myself, I've been listening to this album for almost 30 years. I had picked it up right before Freddie Mercury died. I was in high school, and I want to tell this story about when I picked this album up. I just got my first speeding ticket.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
Yeah. And I needed to find a way to pay for my speeding ticket, hoping that my father did not find out I got a speeding ticket. And in middle school, I played trombone, okay? Nice. And I had an acoustic guitar that I never learned how to play. And I took that guitar, and I took that trombone, and I went to a pawn shop, and I got $125 for both of them. Okay?
Snap.
Yeah. But you know what? Back then, that was enough to pay for a speeding ticket. And I got 4 cassettes. I got Queen's News of the World, Queen's Day at the Races, Night at the Opera, and Sheer Heart Attack. Those were my first 4 Queen albums that I bought. And then a few weeks later, I got Queen's The Game. So this was right before Freddie Mercury dies.
Yeah.
So I'm already diving past the greatest hits into album cuts. Then Freddie Mercury dies.
Oh, man, that must have been a blow.
And I'm done, man. It hit me because I just discovered his music. Oblivious to the fact that he had AIDS. Oblivious that he was dying.
Yeah.
And so it touched me. But then, later on, Wayne's World comes out. Bohemian Rhapsody blows up all over again.
Yep.
And Queen's that band, and you cannot disagree with this, where every 10 years something happens to keep them relevant. So 70s, big hits, 80s, early 80s, big hits, kind of drown out a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Then Freddie dies. Concert for Freddie blows up.
Yeah.
Right?
No, you are correct. And one of the other most impressive things that I've always appreciated about Queen, as far as staying relevant, you know, and having that staying power. So Queen is a band where not only are they one of the few bands that could leave no musical stone unturned in their existence. They flipped every stone that there was.
That's right.
2, if there is a tribute album out there, I don't know if there is or not off the top of my head, but Dwight Yoakam, Crazy Little Thing Called Love. All right, he's done that. He really didn't change it up. Metallica, Stone Cold Crazy, they really didn't change it up.
No.
You know, maybe sped it up a little bit, but they did not change it up. Oh snap! And now I had like 4 examples in my head.
Ice Under Pressure.
Oh, that's how you lose friends right there. Well,
Yeah.
That is how you lose friends here.
All right.
But point is, their musical capability, and they had their hands on everything. That it reached the gambit from one end to the other.
Right.
Even like when I was a kid, another one bites the dust. You know, back then you had R&B radio stations, and they were playing this song by 4 scrawny white guys from England.
No, it was a #1 hit on the R&B charts and on the pop charts.
Yeah.
You know, that's rare for a white band.
Exactly.
Like you said, 4 scrawny guys from England. Yeah. And the thing about Queen, and we're not saying anything that's new, right? The only thing you've learned so far that's new is that I pawned my trombone and guitar to pay for a speeding ticket and get some Queen cassettes.
Yeah. And I also played trombone in middle school also. So
do you still have your trombone?
Yes.
Really?
My nephew has it. Yeah.
You're going to keep it away from me. I might pawn it if I need some extra cash. Okay. But anyway, then Wayne's World comes out, Bohemian Rhapsody blows up, right?
Yep.
Then you have American Idol and the Queen Band revamping.
Yep.
Then Then they start touring again with Adam Lambert
Yeah.
and
Paul
Paul
Rodgers.
Rogers. Exactly. So, and then Bohemian Rhapsody comes out a couple of years ago, and Queen stays relevant for almost 50 years.
Yeah.
And the thing I love about Queen, and I know you'll agree with this, is that no matter what generation, new kids are always listening to it. Dude,
Yeah.
we were listening to Queen 20 years after their peak. You know, that's when we kind of like, even though we grew up with them in the hits, we were listening to them well after those hits were already established. We were little kids when those hits came out.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly. And not even to mention the movie soundtracks from when we were growing up.
The first time I ever heard of Queen, what is it?
Flash, got on.
You saved every one of us?
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
I did that. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Saw that in
Flash
the
was
theater.
what the first time I knew who Queen was. I'd already heard another one's Bites the Dust. We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions is just part of our DNA.
Yeah.
But it was Flash.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think the first time I saw Queen was during the Radio Gaga video, and
Yeah.
I didn't think they looked cool at all, man. I'm sorry, but I love the song. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong,
And
but
then
they did not
Highlander.
look cool with their afros, their white boy
Yeah,
afros.
yeah, that though.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the Highlander soundtrack.
Right. And so, Ken, let's jump into this album. Whenever we review albums, we're going to go track by track. Some songs we're going to talk about for a long time. Some songs we're just going to let you know that we're not fans of. However, when you're listening to the show, if you feel that we've shortchanged the song, let us know in the comments. We want to hear from you.
Absolutely. And you know, this is, the world is negative right now, and we're not about the negativity. But we have, however many tracks are on the album, that's that many tracks of greatness. Whether we like it or not, that's irrelevant.
Somebody likes it. We want to know who likes it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the show, we're going to tell you our favorite songs and our least favorite songs from the albums, and let us know your favorites and least favorites as well. So, Ken, let's jump into this. The first two songs on side one of News of the World, because it was released as a record, man. We're doing side one, side two here.
Absolutely, as it should be.
Yeah, the first two songs, We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions. So Brian May comes up with We Will Rock You. Freddie Mercury comes up with We Are the Champions. How insanely talented do you have to be to come up with not one stadium anthem that's played for 40 plus years, but two, and to have them back to back on one album?
And boom, that's your out the gate. Because again, you got to remember, side one, side two. Side one, that first song has to be a strong one. That first song
Just
has
that
to
stomp.
punch you in the face.
Punches you with it right out of the gate.
And probably in the history of rock music, this is probably the side A, song one of all time, right here.
Well, that's heavy, man.
That is heavy, but I mean,
There's
right
a lot
now,
of great side
there
ones.
there are, but
Side one, track one, so there's a lot.
yeah, there are a lot. But and that will be another show where we're going to have to sit down and be like, all right, of our top side one, track ones,
Yeah, the greatest album openers.
yes,
We can do it. We can do
because
it later on.
this is definitely one of them.
No, definitely
By far.
one of the most iconic.
Yeah,
You know, definitely without a doubt one of the most iconic track openers. And it's a stomp, right?
Yeah.
Until you hit, and it's Freddie singing until you hit Brian May's guitar solo and all the instruments. come
yeah.
in. It's just
Which
a
is
stomp.
and it's crazy, and he achieved his goal of, hey, you know, let's do something that crowd participation, because on a stage, anytime. Okay, so I'll just share this with everybody. I am a guitarist, not a great guitarist.
Oh,
Better
come on,
than
man.
most.
How
average
long
than
you been
some.
playing guitar? 30 years?
Yeah, or what day is it? Yeah, 30. A little over 30 years.
Yeah, a little over 30 years, man. Don't let him fool you. This guy has a degree in music, so he knows what he's talking about.
And I'll take your order at Starbucks. But
Right. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It's a good honest living. Keep
Oh,
going.
yeah.
Keep going.
I'm sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. But
That's because you just want some coffee. Hurry up. and
Yeah.
talk, man. Come on. You're wasting people's time.
no, so when you're on a stage, and when you can get the crowd involved and participating, that energy that's
Stomping
created.
feet, clapping
Yeah.
hands.
So boom, right out the gate, you are creating a
Big
synergy.
sing along, shouting chorus.
Yeah, and just imagine a stadium doing this. Is like hell, we're in Texas. Everyone's been to a football game because that's life here. High school, and boom, boom, pop, boom, boom, pop.
That's right.
That's contagious. It carries.
No, it's so simple too, right?
Yeah.
It's like I can't believe it took until 1977 for someone to come up with that.
Yeah.
Now this song bleeds into "We Are the Champions." That's how I know these songs. Okay, when I was growing up listening to the radio, I never heard "We Will Rock You" without "We Are the Champions" coming back.
And I still don't. It's still
Yeah,
one
that's
right
it.
after the other.
Well, I've heard "We Are the Champions" coming without "We Will Rock You," but I've never heard "We Will Rock You" without "We Are the
Oh,
Champions."
wow. Did you buy a lottery ticket that day? Uh-huh.
No, I shouldn't have, man.
You should have.
We wouldn't be doing a podcast. We'd be sitting on a beach somewhere.
Yep.
Anyway, I remember hearing these on the radio, and I honestly thought it was kind of like a big, long medley.
Yeah.
Just one song. And I was shocked to find out it wasn't. But you have that hard guitar solo, that hard rock guitar solo to end
Yeah.
"We Will Rock You." And then just Freddie's voice softens in that piano intro to "We Are the Champions." And then you hit all of that bombast. And we're going to say that word a lot with Queen because it is
Freddie-
the word synonymous
With Freddie Mercury.
with Freddie Mercury.
Oh, yeah.
Bombast. Okay. And so then you get that with "We Are the Champions." And then you're like, wait a minute. We already played the game with "We Will Rock You." And now we're celebrating the victory
Yep.
with "We Are the Champions." Dude, how do you come up with that?
Yeah.
I mean, we're not that smart, kid.
No, far from. We're Texans, public school. But the fact that
That's not right, man.
yeah, sky's blue, water's wet. And yeah, boom. The two personalities, May, driving force, as when you have a rock and roll band, guitar, bass, drum, singer, the guitar is a predominant, not necessarily vocal, but eyepiece. You're going to see the guitarist. The guitarist is not going to stand in the back with the bass player. The guitarist is going to be verbose and up front. And then you have Freddie Mercury. He comes in, and with "We Are the Champions," thing that defines Freddie, grandiose.
Yes.
There is nothing shy about that man.
No.
And so when he starts singing and he's mellow and you listen to the words and the things he's saying and the chorus, how romantic, and we'll keep fighting till the end,
Man, I didn't even think of it as a love song. you know?
Well, romance, not necessarily from like the
I was thinking of it
Lifetime.
as a sports song. I mean,
Yeah, not like from Lifetime channel, but just,
Okay.
you know,
you get a little,
to,
you get a little
to the
modeling
death.
on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but you're right though. I mean, this is when you hear this, you feel like you accomplished something. All I did was listen to a song on the radio, and I feel like I should have a trophy for my accomplishments, right? You know. Having said that, this is one of those iconic 1-2 punches. I can't think of another 1-2 punch. Maybe Zeppelin's Heartbreaker, Live and Love and
Love
Made,
and-
but it's
yeah.
not We Will Rock
No,
You, We Are the Champion.
nowhere
but
near.
but they need to be together.
Yes.
What else? Can you think of anything else like that? Like where you just need to hear one go into the other?
Other.
That's the only other one
Yeah,
that comes to my
that's-
mind like that. There has to be a lot more. Ken is at a loss for words. If you know of another 1-2 punch that has to go together the same way these two do, leave them in the comments so we can both look like idiots. Please.
Yes, please let us know. And
Now, this is the reason you buy News of the World. Those two songs, right?
Absolutely.
We Will Rock You, We're the Champions. This is the reason it sold 4 million copies in the U.S. This is the reason why it was a hit all over the world. But we got to keep listening to the other tracks. And this is what I love about Queen, is that they have so many songs that are just buried on albums that are great, that a lesser band, these would have been hits for.
oh, absolutely.
And so the next song, though, unfortunately, track 3, Sheer Heart Attack, it's not one of them. Okay?
And I'm going to have to agree with you on that one,
Yeah.
buddy.
Now, this was written by Roger Taylor, the drummer, and I like Roger Taylor, the drummer. Kind of apathetic towards Roger Taylor, the singer. I like Roger Taylor, the backup singer, with his super high falsetto
Oh, yeah,
to
he
add.
can hit out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Bohemian, yeah.
Right. He hits all the high notes, and he's always the background singer for Freddie in concert.
Which is
always.
fantastic, yeah.
You know. But I'm not a fan of his songwriting, man. And to me, the Queen's third album is called Sheer Heart Attack. this had to have been an outtake from that album that they just decided to revisit.
And I get it, because you also have to remember back then when they were releasing albums and whatnot, it was different back then. Like you had some people like James Brown released 2 or 3 albums in 1 year, and then some people one every year, but they were beholden to a timeline. So I could see how they might have.
And they're touring all the time.
Yeah.
So sometimes, man, it's just like, man, I'm tired. I don't want to write another song.
Yeah, or they wrote the song and they were working on the next album. You know, they could have been recording it in between a tour, you know, like other bands would do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean that's kind of common. And when I see that reminds me of like Houses of the Holy.
Yeah.
You know?
This is not one of my favorites on the song. I mean, you know, it's a hard rock song, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. I will say
What do you like about it?
What I do appreciate about this song is you can hear what makes Queen 4 strong, solid, competent musicians who come as individuals, and they come together and make a band.
Yes.
That's what I like about this song. Yeah, maybe not my favorite song on the album, but Queen definitely sounds like Queen on this song.
That's fair. That's a fair point. Well, let's move on to track 4, side 1, and that's All Dead by Brian May again.
Oh, God, I love it.
Yeah, and I know you do. And what's crazy is that Brian May, when you listen to his singles, okay, Tie Your Mother Down, Fat Bottom Girls, We Will Rock You, he's kind of that hard rock element, right? He wants to shred on that guitar.
Yeah, he wants to bring it.
Yeah, that's what Brian May does. And then but sometimes, man, he just like does a song like All Dead, where you're like, oh wow, this is a sweet song. You know, this is a sad song, and it's a very loving piano song. This is the song that I expect Freddie to write.
Yeah. If you did not read the liner notes, you know, the albums, because remember those came out back in the day when we were buying albums, you would have never known. And the other thing that I appreciate, okay, they're a band. They've been together, they groove together, their cohesion. And if you know good bands like that, the other members begin to sort of sound like each other. I mean, you can distinguish them. Like, okay, singing. You listen to Brian May singing.
So you're not sounding like their voices don't sound together. You're talking about they start taking elements from the other's musical strengths.
Yeah, and you can hear the influence of the other band members on them.
Right.
You know? So they're still an individual. I mean, Brian May is still Brian May.
And what's this song about, King? Because you're the one who told me, man. I've been listening to this song for 30 years. I had no clue.
Yeah, I love it. Brian wrote this song about his cat. His favorite cat, it died. And that's what the song's about. All dead, all dead.
Still kind of macabre, man. All dead. Hey, you're dead, cat. Time to go on. You know what? I don't want people to hate me right out the gate, so I'm not going to tell the story about when I killed my roommate's cat, okay?
Oh.
We're just going to leave it at that. We're going to move on to song number 5, side 1. This is written by the bassist, John Deacon. So right now, we're 5 songs in, and every member has contributed to this album. Like
one thing that makes this band great. They are a band.
This song is absolutely one of my favorite Queen songs, not just on this album, but ever. You know.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised no one has remade this song or covered this song.
I'm surprised it wasn't a bigger hit. They did release it as a single. There's a video out there. You can go on YouTube right now and watch the Spread Your Wings video.
Well, you know, everyone after they listen to this, they should pull it up and watch it.
No, you're absolutely right. Please do that. And so when they released it, it wasn't a huge hit. And I was shocked because when I was in high school driving around and everybody else was listening to Belle Biv DeVoe and who else were listening to? Right Said Fred and all that. I was listening to Queen. I was listening to this. Now, I remember sitting in a friend's Jeep, you know, driving around listening to this song. And she would just like shout, Spread Your Wings. Like she loved this song for some reason.
This is a great anthem, man. When I hear this song, even today, I can visualize the stadium full of lighters going up when this song starts.
I'm shocked that it just wasn't a bigger. Maybe it was because disco was moving in. It was creeping in. It hadn't blown up yet, right? Saturday Night Fever hadn't blown up yet.
This is true.
It was creeping in there.
Yeah.
And maybe it was a little too arena rock. you know.
Okay, I give you that. I can give you that. Now, what I will say about this song, other than the fact that I love this song displays John Deacon's songwriting ability.
Go
This
for
is
it.
a
Tell me how.
strong Mamma Jam. Well, this is a solid song. So, All Dead, I like. Brian, clever.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like, hey, my cat dog gonna write a song about it.
Right.
Sheer Heart Attack, band sounds great, not so crazy about it.
Right.
And boom, Deacon's up to bat now, and boom, he hits a solid home run.
No, I'm with you on that. And for me, it's the lyrics, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's about a struggling musician, right?
Yep.
Whose boss and everybody else around him saying, "Oh man, just stay here. You're not going to make it. Play it safe." And he's like, "Nah, man, I got to get out of this dead end town if I'm going to make it."
Yeah.
Love it. I love the theme.
Yeah, and so how could a teenager not identify with that? Because when you're a kid, right? When we were teens, music is life. And having that negativity of, okay, yeah, it's against me, but I'm going to spread my wings. I'm going to press.
How can an adult not identify with that?
True.
You know,
true.
Hey, and excuse me for saying this, but one of the things Ken has always told me is when life kicks you in the nuts, you get back up so you can get kicked again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, it's just,
Keep moving
it is
forward.
what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when you have a song like this, these are the kind of songs you listen to where you get back up so you can get kicked again.
And keep pressing, yeah.
But you know what? Unless you keep getting back up, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you'll never
and
get
I
there.
love songs that are inspirational like this. Sounds a little bit cheesy, a little bit saccharine,
But
but
it's
I don't
true.
even care, man,
Yeah.
because that's how it makes me feel. Not ashamed at all.
Nice.
Okay, so let's go to the final song on side one, and that's Fight from the Inside. I just told you on Sheer Heart Attack, Roger Taylor, I'm not a fan of his songwriting.
Yeah.
I've been listening to this song for 30 years, and I've been fast forwarding or skipping or pressing the button to go to next for 30 years on this song. And I'm here to say I was so wrong. Because Ken, before we started recording this show, I hit play just so we could get a vibe, get a
Yep.
feel for the album. And oh my God, that bass line. Like John Deacon wasn't messing around with that bass
yeah.
line. But then this song, I kept listening to it and I was like, oh my God, this song is so catchy. Why have I not been listening to this the same way I've been listening to Spread Your Wings or All Dead, or the first two songs?
Yeah.
Props to Roger Taylor for writing this song.
You know, and it sounded like he tapped into his teenage angst, you know?
Yeah.
And it could have been, as they were sitting around, okay, these are the songs we're contributing. Hey, spread your wings, you know? And he could have been like, hey, you know what? This reminds me back when I was a kid and getting, stomped on.
Yeah. It's funny you say it, right? It's kind of like, okay, we're going to start with We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like this is the B-side, like with like it's hey,
yeah.
we're going to let the rhythm section have their two songs back to back, Spread Your Wings, Fight from the Inside, Don't Give Up, right?
Yep. Yeah, just that
Hey, we're
press.
celebrating with the championship. Y'all keep fighting, y'all keep spreading your wings,
And if you think about it, that's a good way to wrap up side one.
No, you're right. And, but I am so sad that for 30 years I kept skipping this song. I could have been listening to this song, getting down with that bass line for 30 years.
That's the great thing
And I
about
did.
music, though, because, when we're young, there's a lot of things we can't hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's true. And so let's flip it. Let's go to side one side two, track one. This has always been one of my favorite Queen songs. And you're going to hear that a lot. Like, we're not done saying this is one of my favorite Queen songs for this album. Get Down, Make Love. Freddie Mercury wrote this one. This is 4 minutes of sex, Ken.
Oh, this is coming out the gate, let me tell
Yeah.
you. You flip that album over and it's like, oh, whoa.
What's crazy about the sound of the instruments on this song is they're not playing together. It's 4 individual musicians making individual sounds that just work together, right?
Yeah.
Do you disagree with that?
No, they were tracking.
Because what Freddie's doing on the piano is different than that. The bass is kind of keeping it together. Do 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 do. It's kind of keeping it together. But then Brian May just has like a little guitar part here and there, you know. You'll hear a drum fill come in every once in a while.
And the contrast, because then when they come to the chorus, but that's when they all come together. Boom.
Gets bombastic all over, yeah.
And they get the groove going.
One of my favorite Queen choruses, because you gotta get down, make low. Like, I love that part, just like that. You feel like you're releasing all that energy. But yeah, so I don't want to kind of analyze the lyrics here. It's about sex.
Yeah. This is definitely like a throwback to early rock and roll, heavy blues influenced
But there is something I want to hit on musically. In the introduction, when we're talking about our love of Queen and growing up with Queen, man, after you hit that second chorus, they go into this little break, and it might as well have just been sounds from the Flash soundtrack. It's like when they were putting together the Flash soundtrack in 1980, 81, yeah, around there. They said, what song do we have in our catalog that we can incorporate into the soundtrack? And they said, let's go back to Get Down, Make Love, and put all those weird and cool sounds onto this whole soundtrack and make an entire soundtrack of the sounds from this song. Am I wrong?
Yeah, when they're like, okay, we need a sound to represent the flying. I can remember what the Hawk people were called.
I don't know. It was the only thing I remember is go, Baron!
Baron! Yeah,
that's
and
it.
just for random sounds throughout the movie.
Hey, you know that guy was in Lord of the Rings too, right? He was the dwarf in Lord of the Rings.
Oh, that was
actor.
John Rhys Davies. Oh, I see.
Yeah, he was the big barrel-chested Vulcan.
Vulcan. That's seen that Hawk people, the Vulcans. Yes.
I think that was his name. Wasn't that his first name? Anyway, I got to go see Flash Gordon. You know what's great?
Go, Flash, go.
Is that during this time of isolation and COVID, a lot of drive-in theaters are opening back up.
Yes.
And they're playing old movies. I got to look for a drive-in that's playing Flash Gordon so I can relive my childhood.
Oh, that'd be so awesome.
We are getting so far off track here.
Yes, I have to say.
Yeah, we're not going to do the Flash soundtrack. We might do the song Flash because it's a great song, but we're not doing the soundtrack.
But not
let's
today.
Let's move on.
Because we only have 13 hours to save the earth. All right, I'm done. Press.
All right. So the second song on side 2 is Sleeping on the Sidewalk, another Brian May song. Kid, so we've heard your stadium anthems, your power ballads, your kind of funky sex song, you know. This is Brian May playing the blues.
Yeah, and you can definitely hear the influence. So he's British, group 60s, had an impact on him.
John Miles, Blues Breakers.
Yeah, and the invasion of the American guys coming over, Howlin' Muddy Waters, because that's where Rolling Stones got their name from. So you can hear that throughout this song. The other interesting thing when I hear this song is, from where we stand now in the 21st century, I hear this song like, okay, it totally makes sense why they would ask Paul Rodgers to sing with them.
Oh yeah, with that blues.
Yeah. I mean, you hear this, I'm like, oh yeah. Where did they vibe? Okay, yeah, this was a song like, hey, let's try this. All right, we feel good. Let's do this.
And just to clarify, if you're a classic rock fan, you know who Paul Rodgers is. If you're new and you only clicked on the link because you saw Queen, Paul Rodgers was the lead singer of Free and Bad Company.
Yep.
So I just want to make sure we get that out there. All right, let's move on to track 3. We talked about John Deacon as a songwriter earlier. And earlier he wrote the power ballad, right?
Yep.
Spread Your Wings. Now he's writing a little breakup love song, man. Completely acoustic.
Yes.
Like, I would expect this from Brian May. On the Night at the Opera album, Brian May writes an acoustic song called 39, right? Where it's just, all acoustic and it's kind of chorus singing. He wrote a song called Doing All Right from the debut album. So to me, when I heard this, I was like, oh man, this is a Brian May vibe. Then you find out it's John Deacon. John Deacon's the guy who wrote Another One Bites the Dust.
Yes.
Who heavily used the organ on You're My Best Friend, right?
Yeah.
And now he's writing just an acoustic ballad with some maracas, so
Yeah, which a completely different now.
Spanish
They're going
guitar
for
style
the
from
straight
Maine.
Latin sound.
Yeah.
A calypso, a nice, and the juxtaposition. Yeah, it's a breakup song, but it has a nice happy feel, happy beat. So, okay, let's dance while I break up with you.
Yeah, no, that's kind of the juxtaposition there, right?
Yep.
Like, hey, we're going to break up. Who needs you? I'm going to go have a night out on the town. But inside, his heart's breaking.
Oh, yeah.
We've been there, done
That's,
that.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's what we do, baby.
Yeah.
I love this song because I like the contrast of this track to the album.
Right.
Because there's nothing else like this.
That sounds like it. No, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right. And you know what the great thing is because I told you, I first heard this whole album 30 years ago. You had just recently heard the whole album, even though you had heard individual tracks.
Yep.
I was there when you first heard this song.
Yep.
And so I remember this song was on. You were just there kind of, I don't know if you were doing laundry or if you were like making coffee or whatever. And you just kind of turned and stopped and picked up your guitar trying to figure out them chords, man. And I remember you doing that. I was like, yep. Ken's hooked on this song. Once I see you pick up that guitar, stop what you're doing, whatever you're doing midway through and just pick up the guitar. I know, okay, Ken's going to learn how to play this song eventually.
And so what drove me to do that, and when I catch music, so you hear this song and the structure of this song, you're like, oh, okay, this makes sense. This is almost like something you would hear in a musical. And considering their age, that was big at their time, So
no, that makes complete sense. We really haven't talked about Freddie Mercury's voice on this, because it really doesn't need to be said that he's the greatest or one of the greatest singers of all time in rock history. Not just rock history, just history.
Yeah, it's
right?
like, hey, a bird flies. Yeah, tell me something I don't know.
With that unique sound of his voice and just the power and range that he has. Man, that falsetto he brings to this song.
Yes.
And usually if Freddie gets high, he's kind of screaming or he's like really powerful. This one's very sweet.
Yeah, this was smooth.
Smooth,
this
that's a good
fit
word.
the
I like
song
it. Yeah.
well.
So, yeah, let's add this to the pile of songs that sound like no other song on the album.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's move into track 4 on side 2, and that's It's Late. This is Brian May's arena rock, power rock sound.
Oh, yeah.
6.5 minutes. You could call We Are the Champions epic, right?
Oh,
but
absolutely.
especially with We Will Rock You.
Yeah.
This is an epic rock song, right? It starts off just with his guitar, starts off with those breakup lyrics. Now, hey, John Deacon went through it. Now my man Brian May's going through it. Freddie's singing, but Brian May's the one who wrote the song.
And this is where they come together with that Queen sound. This is where you hear 4 guys who have been together, touring, writing, collaborating, in each other's pocket, just a band. And so, it's a long song, so almost 6.5 minutes.
Yeah, but they're jamming.
Yeah, this is Queen jamming. This is what you would get if you saw them in a little dive bar in England when they started touring stadiums, first time in the States, even in the last time in the States. When you see them and you see the pinnacle pictures of Mercury with his short hair, mustache, and his little stabby stab microphone stand.
Is that what it's called? A stabby stab?
Oh, yeah.
Is that what we're going to call it from now on? Freddie Mercury stabby stab microphone?
and the 4 of them are together, and that energy that the 4 of them create together.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is it.
This is it. This is the touring band coming together, right? I agree. Now, Brian May has a great guitar solo on this. The band sounds good. We talked about Roger Taylor as a singer. We talked about him as a songwriter. He's number 4 out of the songwriters, by the way. But oh my God, Roger Taylor on the drums here is just pounding it. He's hitting those fills. It's like he's taking it out. He's taking it out on those drums. And this is really one of the songs. And he's had other great moments as a drummer. There's a song off the first album called Liar where he does a lot of really cool things with cowbells and everything else. But he's just really taken out. This is where hey, if he wanted to, he could be in a heavy metal band just keeping up with anybody because he is just pounding on those drums. It really is, to me, the defining musical instrument in the song. But I love this entire song. By far, an epic Queen song. Queen has always had epic songs on their albums. Every single album up until maybe 1981, 84, always had a huge epic. To me, this is the epic of this album.
I can go with you that.
You're in agreement?
I feel you there. I feel you.
Ken, the album's coming to a close.
Yes.
And the last song on News of the World, side 2, My Melancholy Blues. Another song that does not sound like any other song on the album.
Yes.
This is
Love that.
Cabaret Freddy.
Oh, straight up. This is, yeah. And you know what?
Might as well be Liza Minnelli here.
Yeah.
In a bar with cigarettes. Sad.
But it's perfect though,
At 2
because
o'clock in the morning.
This is
Keep
Freddie.
going.
This is who Freddie was. And again, we were little kids back then, so we don't know what the world knew about Freddie or how they felt about Freddie, or if that was even, Freddie was accepted as Freddie back then.
Yeah, he wasn't.
But what we do know, he, again, the word grandiose. He was going to be larger than life, and this song is him portraying that. Because, that influence, the cabaret, it's there. I love how, even within the style of the cabaret style, it doesn't sound as predictable progression-wise. So
Even pretentious, though, too. It
Yeah.
doesn't sound I mean, this is kind of an intimate moment with Freddie, right?
Yeah. I love that.
I'm not wrong in saying that, right? Like, it's an intimate moment.
Oh, yeah.
Where you can imagine him on a piano, up on stage in a little bar with just one spotlight, just singing his heart out.
Yeah.
For like 50 people in the bar.
And sitting there at the piano, and you could hear him say, okay, I've played and learned these many songs in this style, in this vein. How can I change it up? Where can I change it up? How can I substitute chords here and there to make it sound slightly different? Because that's what Queen does. That's what they would do. And boom, there he goes with this. And because he is Freddie Mercury and he has a voice, he was a singer who could hold and carry something like this.
No, I mean, this is kind of a Freddie. I don't want to call it. It's not, to me. It's not a masterpiece.
No,
it's not.
This is where Freddie says, "All right, guys, you know what? We did a good job. Y'all take a breather. I'm gonna knock this out."
And we're gonna talk about songs that close albums. I think it's an appropriate closer.
Yes.
I just don't think it would have been the song I closed an album with. I almost kind of like the idea of closing the album with something epic. Like, to me, the last sound I should have heard on the album was "It's Late" with that drum, the drums going off, and then that guitar just leaving and fade. But you can see the connection between that sound and then just saying, "Okay, the party's over. Now we're gonna play you as you're leaving the place, as you're leaving the establishment."
Exactly. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Yes.
Right.
This is a definite ending. Yeah. Coda. We're done.
Okay.
And so it did wrap up nice.
Yeah. Speaking of wrap up, this is it. So we've already gone through News of the World. Let me ask you this before we get into our favorite and least favorite songs. Do you think this still holds up? Like as an album? We already know "We Will Rock You," "We Are the Champions" hold up because they have held up for 40 years. They're played in every stadium. At the end of every single championship sports celebration, it's played.
Yeah.
We're not arguing that. I'm
absolutely.
saying as an album, News of the World, does it hold up?
I will say yes, and I will also say it holds up in probably the same way it did in '77 to sell 4 million copies. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, song 1, 2, I know that. I give it a listen, and oh snap. I would say there are very few people, or you might find few people, who will listen to this album and be like, didn't like it at all.
Right.
Yeah, no. Something on this album besides song 1 and 2 will grab you.
And I think that's it, right? It's so diverse. Hey, you might not like half the album, but you might like the other half because nothing sounds like the song before it. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like you might not, or you might be like me where you're like, man, I really don't like that Roger Taylor song. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe I haven't been listening to that this whole time.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Like I bet a paycheck. My mom listens to the album. Who needs you? She'll take to that song.
Yeah, or somebody somebody who's older is going to like my Melancholy Blues or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, Ken, what's your least favorite song on the album?
My least favorite song on this album is Sheer Heart Attack.
And that is also my least favorite song. It's just kind of a paint by numbers track. They're playing well, but not well enough for me to ever put it in my playlist.
Yeah, and again, not a bad song, just not as great as the others on the album.
All right, what's your favorite song on the album?
Woo!
You got to pick one.
Yeah.
Let's go. Come on, man.
Spread Your Wings, baby.
Yeah, that's such a great song. But my favorite song, It's Late. I love the power arena rock.
Yeah.
I love the drums. I love Freddie screaming that kind of, he's screaming along with the drums, right? It's almost like Roger Taylor is hitting him with the drums as he's screaming.
Yeah, and they're feeding off each other, that energy.
There are very few 6.5 minute songs that I can listen to. There's a handful. There's actually more than a handful where from the first second till the end, they keep me the entire time, and I don't like start wandering around. It's Late does that for me. So we've told you our favorites. We've told you our least favorites. Listen to the album. If you're somebody who's new to the album, listen to it. Tell us your favorites and least favorites. If you've been listening to this album for 30, 40, however many years, right? Let us know your favorite tracks and least favorite tracks. If you think we shortchanged the song, let us know. We want to know your opinions, not only on the individual songs, but on our reactions to the songs as well.
Oh, absolutely. And if you have any knowledge to drop on us, please do, because we love to learn about these albums, these songs, these artists, the bands.
Right.
Please share.
And I've read biographies on Queen, and I've read up to date, but we're going to be honest, man, a lot of our research is a little thing called Wikipedia, and I'm not even hiding that. Might as well get that out of the way. Show 1, episode 1. Get it out of the way. We're going to be reading a lot of Wikipedia on these shows, okay?
Yeah, we do.
So if you know anything else, anything neat to tell us about news of the world, please let us know. Ken and I are going to go drown our sorrows after listening to my Melancholy Blues. Show 1 is in the books.
Yes.
We'll see you again later. Bye-bye.